Go Gadget Podcast.
It's going Some Guy and John again, but not at the Imperial.
Yes.
For the first time ever.
Ever.
Yeah. Ever, really.
The hills are alive with the sound of fire in Santa Barbara, so we're in a house.
Josue's house.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Josue.
Hi, how's it going?
And we have Dr. Rachel with us.
Rachel. Absolutely, and we just finished. Well, you saw for the second time, Guy.
Yeah.
Me, Rachel, and Josue for the first time. What came out on Thursday? Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Wow. that almost villainy laugh you have there.
It sounded more like a growl to me.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
What's in your mind, Guy?
Oh, I don't know. Are they trying to line up the Star Wars universe with the Marvel universe for Patton Oswalt's dream come true?
Oh dear God, I hope not.
I don't know, they threw a lot of comedy in here.
I got shit to say about that. They threw a lot. 152 minutes. Rey develops her newly discovered abilities with the guidance of Luke Skywalker, who is unsettled by the strength of her powers. Meanwhile, the Resistance prepares to do battle with the First Order. Which I keep seeing in a lot of these other reviews. It keeps getting relabeled the New Order.
Illuminati, baby, it's everywhere.
I was just thinking about pop bands from 30 years ago. But yeah, I guess that too.
Yeah.
I actually think I know where that comes from, but it's kind of spoilery, so I'll wait.
We'll wait for spoilers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the spoiler-free version of the movie. But, the trailer's been worked around the internet for a while now.
Yeah.
So it's not, it kind of looks like a basic Star Wars plot premise, so nothing too spoilery off the top.
Simply enough, it's a Star Wars movie.
It is a Star Wars movie. It said Star Wars in the title. I know, because I saw it. It came right before the crawl. It said Star Wars.
Yeah, there's lightsaber space battles.
It's got all the components of a Star Wars movie. It said episode 8, so it's obviously the one after 7.
Oh God! Should we just skip up the spoilers?
First impressions.
Well,
I had a huge expectations for this movie. I figured. Listen, they did number 7. JJ and the writers and everybody sat down and said, well, just so we can restart the franchise again, but get it off on the right foot, let's only do everything we already know our fans love, which is the first 3 movies. Yeah. Which is why they redid all 3 movies to do the last movie. That's what they did. They said, listen, everybody's going to love it. They're especially going to love the fact that George Lucas has nothing to do with it. Yeah. And then we got, better effects now. Yeah. And we're just going to show you all, you like the Millennium Falcon? We're going to give you more Falcon. Mm-hmm. You want to see Han Solo? We got Han Solo. Mm-hmm. We paid him enough. He's showing up. It's not going to last very long, but he will be in it.
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah.
Right. So, it's member berries. Yeah. Remember the Death Star? We got a bigger one. Oh, to the point where they actually show you the scale of how big
all the other Death Stars were,
Yeah, exactly.
This is the first one, this is the second one,
this is the big one. It's bigger, so it must mean it's better.
And then Han Solo did the same thing we all did in the audience. How do we blow it up?
There's always a way to blow it up. Because you can see it coming a mile away. But they didn't care. This is what everybody complained about with the prequels. It wasn't shit they knew. So they hated him and lambasted him for it. So, you know what? Here's all the shit you know.
Which unfortunately is shaping up to be the only redeeming quality of the prequels.
I know. It was kind of...
it's all new. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Right. But they knew they couldn't get away with too many more member berries than this one because, let's be honest, they redid the first 3 movies already the last time out. So
there's a lot here.
They're not going to redo the prequels.
Yeah, I hate to say, like I told you after the second time today, usually movies get better for me the second time I watch them.
For me,
this one just became a little more tolerable.
It's still, to me, it depends on the movie.
It was kind of in the back of my head, I was just like, okay, I know it's coming, just ignore it. It's good stuff.
Having only seen it once, I can already tell you, seeing it a second time, I think I'm going to focus in on the stuff I really liked and I'm waiting for and try to block out the stuff.
That's exactly what I did.
And try to block out the stuff.
Which made it slightly worse because it was like, it's still there.
Yeah, and as a result, I think I'm going to be in your same shoes. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to be saying, you know what? Even the second time around, I just cannot block this and that out.
Yeah.
There's almost a little bit of War for the Planet of the Apes in here.
Listen, you can pull strings from like a million movies. Yeah. You were bringing up Spaceballs. I didn't see anything with Spaceballs. You kept saying,
"I'll tell you."
I know.
I caught one other thing than what you did.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, I'm. There's always going to be references to other stuff. It's unavoidable because,
of course,
how creative can they really be? Ask them.
We will find out in the rewrite.
Ask these people this question.
Yeah.
No, that's us. I mean them. They got money.
They're paid to do it. That's the
I
worst
know.
part.
And how creative can they really be? Well, not too much from the point when they have to appease an already installed base of fans that they know when they piss off, they pay for it because they saw what happened with the prequel. So they know they're like, we're gonna have to. You want something different, but at the same time, you don't. So, admittedly, as a fan base, we suck.
It's I don't know.
It's true. We're not the best fan base because show me something new. All right,
basically more.
No, not different, just
logic.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah, but show me something new, but not different.
Like a purple lightsaber.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm reminded of a line from Age of Ultron. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it. That Ultron kind of sums up all of the Star Wars fans because I think Disney's in a box here.
A little.
Where they have to keep the same kind of narratives. They have to keep the same kind of themes going.
Well, see, it almost because I've read or talked about like with the guy who wrote Doctor Strange talked about the way they write movies. Okay. Or the way Marvel writes movies.
Sure.
Is they would get the script and they're like, okay, what else did you want to do that you didn't do?
Right.
How can we make this better?
Disclosure?
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know if they do that with the Star Wars movies.
I mean, it's Disney.
It almost seems like they didn't, especially on this one.
I mean, I don't know how many more they're really going to make. They're already talking about if they're going to do another 3.
Well, they said
it looks likely.
I don't want them to.
They said this director's going to have his own trilogy,
which
is just like a spin-off trilogy.
It's going to be a spin-off trilogy because money.
Because they got to make their $4 billion back.
Because money.
And they just spent $52 billion to buy Fox.
I know.
Which is just...
I know.
Yes and no, good.
Hey, you know what?
I do want my X-Men Planet of the Apes crossover, though, because that'd be fucking sweet.
I'll tell you what I want, and it's teeny tiny. I want the 20th Century Fox logo in front of the Lucasfilm logo and the Star Wars crawl.
It will be now.
Well, because... Right?
They own it now, yeah.
And I love that little fun factoid of weird trivia, which is John Williams orchestrated the anthem for Star Wars at the very beginning to begin on the exact same key, the same chord as the 20th Century Fox logo, dun, 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 as it ends on.
Oh.
So that's why it syncs up so easily in our brains,
in the original,
in our mind's ear.
Trilogy, yeah.
It syncs. It just flows so easily. It begins on the exact same key as the 20th Century Fox logo ends. So it's teeny tiny, but it's noticeable. When you go into Force Awakens, you're like, "Where's the 20th Century Fox?"
Yeah, you're just kind of
like, "Oh shit, that's right. Disney owns them now." It wouldn't be. Well, there's no Disney castle.
Yeah,
this is just weird.
Yeah, you're watching it, and then you're like, "Oh, okay, fuck all that opening crawl starting," and I don't know what it's gonna say.
Once again, I mean, the Lucas, it gets me every time. It's the Lucasfilm logo, which I'm happy to see always, but has no sound, no audio.
Right.
So it's very like, come on, and then it goes into a long time ago in a galaxy far. Again, dead silent. So it's like there's a lot of silence going on here. But then, of course, Star Wars begins with the big, huge letters and then the crawl, and then you're like, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
When I was reading the crawl, which I'm sure anybody can go online and read it, and it's not really that spoiler.
It's the beginning of the movie.
Right.
It pretty much just sums up what happened in Force Awakens.
Right. Yeah. It's like in between then and now, this is what's going on. We're still looking for Luke, and
it's basically the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not far off.
One day later.
Yeah.
Well, with Rey and Luke, it's literally picks up seconds after Force Awakens ends.
There's a lot of
which I didn't
flips on
which
scenes,
if I'm honest, I didn't really like.
You should have started with that.
I had to start. Well, I had to start thinking. I was thinking about it on the way over. with the original, and I know you always have to go back to the originals if you want to make it good. You know, I sound like a bratty, spoiled brat fan.
No,
but whatever. I am. Those 3 first movies are so good.
Yeah, because there's years.
But there's years in between the movies.
Yeah.
Because they took 3 years in gaps to make them.
Yeah.
So the characters have years in between. They don't pick up immediately.
No, this is the next day.
You know, like Rogue One, Rogue One, for instance.
Yeah,
I get that. It's supposed to bleed right into it. Okay, fine. It was pretty cool. This one, I feel they could have waited the 2 years, and we could have seen, if anything, if you did it properly, a flashback when Rey is really meeting with Luke. But I don't know. I would have kind of liked to see the 2-year gap and to see that the battle's been progressing between the 2 sides like they did in the original. They didn't do that. It just goes right into the movie. It just goes like, all right, and then 5 minutes later. Mm-hmm. It's because they ended on such a cliffhanger. Yeah. At the end of Force Awakens, he's like, what's Luke gonna say? We finally see his face. I don't know. I was really, really excited, and it's just there's so many things. First off, I think it's a half hour too long.
At least.
I could nail a half hour out of this, and I know exactly the parts I would rip out.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's an editing challenge.
It was a long movie.
There are parts of this movie that are so bad and so trivial that they don't have any impact on the story. That's the editing challenge.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
but
I'm totally down because...
also, no more Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher gone. So, honestly, I just figured we're going to see, the first couple scenes. I mean, after we... because I figured, looking at the trailer, we're going to launch right into Luke and Rey meeting for the first time. But shortly thereafter, we're going to catch up with Leia, and Leia's killed as what she looks like she's killed in the trailers. Yeah. It looks like Kylo bumps her out.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. And
which I kind of like that editing in the trailer.
Yeah. No, I mean it looked good. I mean it really but it summed up some certain things exactly like the movie, and some other things were kind of like, oh yeah, that didn't actually happen. But they filmed a lot more with Carrie than I thought before she moved on.
They were done with.
Yeah, they were done with principal photography.
Yeah, they were done. Yeah. So I didn't know they were finished. Like they didn't call anybody back in. I'm sure they called in people for reshoots for this or that or pickup shots for this. I'm sure they always have to. Especially a huge movie like this, they always do.
I'm guessing they're going to do probably CGI altered D footage for the next movie.
I was reading online that apparently they're not. That was part of the deal they made with her family, which is that they're not doing any CG Carrie. Her family said, we're not interested in it.
They did it once already with Rogue One when she was alive.
So
that's enough.
That's enough.
She's just written out. She's just going to get...
I guess she's going to get written out.
I hate to say
somehow.
It kind of sucks to see it for an off-camera death.
Yeah.
Princess Leia. There's kind of a... We're kind of getting cheated.
She's going to get killed in the opening crawl.
She might.
Yeah, she might.
The opening of the movie with B-roll footage.
But again...
I'm sure there's B-roll or unused shots they could use too.
Yeah, no, but still, I think we're getting gypped. I mean, there's an off-camera death, kind of, in this movie that I was bummed out about. But we'll get to that in spoilers. We'll get to that in spoilers. I had high expectations. Half of my expectations were met. The other half, I didn't know I had until the movie started, and I was immediately disappointed.
Yeah.
So if it means anything, what I went into the theater wanting to see, I saw. Once the movie started, I started following along after the first few minutes. I started saying, "Oh, I wish I could see this. Oh, I wish they're going to do that. Oh, they have to do this. Oh, they're not going to skip that." And then by 20 minutes of the movie, I'm like, I'm not going to see any of that, am I? Fuck.
Yeah.
And I was like, because all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I see where they're going with this. Well, now we're going to see some good stuff. Ah, shit, what's this?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, this was clearly... It seemed like Rian Johnson, it seemed like he's credited for writing and directing, and that sounds on the premise really, really good, but some things just seemed like they were done by committee. Mm-hmm. Like, who else deserves to get a writing credit in there? Who else gets a story credit in there? Who else gets a screenplay credit in there? Who are we missing here? Because this can't be all him. He's done good stuff before.
Or did we fall into the prequel territory where he had complete control and this is what we got?
Well, I also read that his original version was 3+ hours.
Yeah, see.
So this is already half an hour.
So Disney
cut.
pulled DC.
I mean,
No, I see the director's cut.
I'll say, and we'll get into
3
this
times
more
as
in
long.
spoiler territory, I think it was already too much. So, I mean,
Yeah.
perhaps what should have just been done is his original should have been cut in 2. Rather
Yeah.
than have bits of this cut out.
Yeah, but then they're going to hand him
No,
the last
I
movie.
understand
So,
the reasons not to do that. I
Yeah.
do. But maybe that would have made this better but whatever.
I think so, but actually,
But
you know
there's
what?
no way of knowing.
Actually, you know what? I mean, I
wait.
don't based around all this other stuff.
Do you have anything to say? You're here.
I'm waiting for the spoiler part because like that's.
Oh,
I'm like it's like a word trap. I'm like, wait, what can I say? Okay. Well, yeah, no. First impressions, I guess.
Well,
I was giddy the whole time, so like because I'm like it's a Star Wars, so like I was
yeah,
like,
no. Again, don't let it
And I-
downplay the fact
no,
that
no,
this
no,
is
no,
Star
no.
Wars.
Yeah.
You know,
That
like
was-
let's not downplay the
a
fact
part
that
of me
that's
was
the
like-
ghost of Stonewall Jackson. You know, like a quote of Anchorman 2 there. For
Like
a
some
sec.
parts felt good, some parts still like, felt awkward, but like it was so most of it was like this aura of like oh, Star Wars. I'm watching
it's new Star Wars.
No, I'm with you on that, and that was the good part, and that was the part where I was like, okay, I'm happy they got my money.
Yeah.
It's okay. They got the ticket price off of me. They deserve it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, what the fuck is that on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what's that? What's that doing next to that? Wait, what? Why did she say that to? None of that makes sense. Oh, look, somebody's hitting somebody with a lightsaber. Okay, now it's good. Now it's good again. You know. So I definitely had those moments like where my heart glued, and then the other moments where it just fell out of my body. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just the awkward parts you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember too many awkward parts from the original trilogy. Like awkward, like as in, this seems some questionable writing here. I don't know about that performance of this actor. Like I don't remember those parts. I don't remember second
They
guessing.
kind of weren't there.
I know that's
If
what
they
that's
were,
my
they were
point.
all in.
I would say
They were all in the
Return of the
prequels.
Jedi.
Well, I know, but I would say it's like, oh, you can't. You're comparing one movie with another movie. No, I'm comparing one movie with 3 other ones. So 3 times in a row,
Yeah.
they've been able to pull off this magic trick.
Yeah, the simple
Right.
story that's
Yeah.
easy to follow.
So, like, part of me thinks it's like,
Well, and even
does
in
it just
Force
get-
Awakens, even though, yes, it was just a bunch of nostalgia, it was still a simple story that's easy to follow, that we
Yes.
all went, okay, we understand you're pandering to us, but we love it.
Yes, dude.
Right.
Whereas this one... there
Member
was-
berries taste good.
Whereas this one was more like, okay, we see what you're trying to do. You're trying to do something different. Cool, but oh, wait, why'd you do that? Okay, I'm with you. Whoa, what? Okay, I'm with you. What? No.
Yeah. And I wasn't even looking for canon. You know,
I was just
it didn't
looking
have
for
to fit
does this
in-
hold together?
Exactly.
And for me, I gotta say, this did not hold together
No.
as a single movie.
Yeah, if you take...
It was way too disjointed.
If you took the title Star Wars off of it, would you still, like... Would you give it any praise? Like, do you give it any praise right now?
There were parts I liked, but honestly, my main feeling is...
All right, let me ask you this. If you took the title Star Wars off of it,
Yeah.
and we just called the movie The Last Jedi, and it just wasn't a Star Wars movie, like, take it out of the franchise, pretend the franchise doesn't exist. I know, hard to do.
Kind of hard to
The Last
do.
Night.
Is
okay,
it?
So it's the last
It's
night.
the last night.
Lightsabers have swords.
Right. That's right.
Oh, it's like The Last Samurai.
The Last starring the whitest samurai you've ever seen, Tom Cruise. What I mean is, if you take it out of the all the fanfare, the fact that it is a Star Wars movie,
That it's part of a franchise.
It's part of this big mega franchise. If you took it out of that, would that increase or decrease its value to you? Even your
Well,
to
honestly,
me, it helps it.
Honestly, I think it would depending on the parts of the movie, it would both help and hinder it. Because in parts, then I would be able to say, okay, this isn't part of any franchise where I'm expecting
This isn't anything.
Right.
This is just a movie, and hey, it has some really awesome moments.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of what made me buy into the many convoluted, disjointed plots was that I know the overarching story
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
I'm totally blanking
This
on the
universe.
word. Universe. So
It's a galaxy,
yes and no.
and it's far, far away.
Yeah. Okay, honey.
And a long time ago, yes.
And for me, it helps it if you just take the Star Wars off of it.
Yeah, because then it's like nobody's supposed to act any kind of certain way.
Right.
There's kind of no like, oh, that's kind of dumb, but it's okay. That's just how they are.
Right. It doesn't have to. For me, then it doesn't have to hold up to the bar of some of the other movies.
I hear you, but at the same time, then I don't know what my buy-in is.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Because I know what my buy-in is.
It helps the movie, but you may not buy a ticket.
Which is like what the girl at the makeup store was saying to us when we were in there after dinner.
Yeah.
When we were saying, it's kind of a disappointment. She was like, yeah, but I'm still going to see it because there's a lot of story arcs that I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see
how they play out.
Yeah.
And so that was my buy-in. The same as where are all these story arcs that got built in The Force Awakens going to go? And I was disappointed by almost all of them in this movie.
Well, they introduced a whole huge crop of new characters in Force Awakens, and you can see why. It's because they got, the older actors and characters, they're getting older. They don't want to keep doing this shit. In some cases, they're not around anymore. Yeah. So I get that. They're bringing in the new class, which is difficult, to say the least, for any franchise, is when you bring in the new class. Wait till they axe these Avengers, and we get the new Avengers that you've never even heard of.
I thought they actually did that pretty well in Force Awakens, though.
In Force Awakens,
we came out of that movie being like, we love Rey, we love Finn, we love Poe.
Yeah, I think they did that really good in Force Awakens.
In this movie, not so much.
But they're doing it again. They're acting like they have to reboot The Force Awakens, it seems like. There's all these other new characters that we're bringing in.
Apparently, they said you can do whatever you want. Instead of saying, we have this other movie.
Right.
And these 3 other movies before that, ignore the 3 before that.
No, I mean, I get that. And, I mean, again, I'm happy they tried something new after my disappointment with the member berries from the last movie. Not thrilled to death with how they pulled it off. It's just, I think it's just a little shoddy writing. Sorry, Ryan. But it just, there was a lot just crammed in.
It's not shoddy. It's just downright bad at points.
Well, I mean,
should we just go into spoilers?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're dancing around a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
All right. Oh, do you want to say it?
No, Josue, you've been waiting.
It was like a...
Josue, you're in. Yeah,
we're in spoilers.
All right.
Go, Josue.
Spoilers.
Go ahead. You've waited patiently. Young Jedi. Young Padawan.
Dude, should I go chronologically?
Go chronologically, just for fun.
That's fine.
You need a frame of reference. Go
And
chronologically.
you can take us through the whole movie and all the problems.
John and Guy had we all mentioned this. I think we had a mini conversation outside of the theater about it. But you're right about the language that was used, right in the opening sequence of "Cold, please." It's like, I'm sorry, future spaceman. Hello, using future language from the 1990s. Why?
Yeah, they were
because I'm
updated jokes.
Updated jokes.
No, they're contemporary jokes.
Yeah.
Hold?
Well, I mean, I think what struck us as off about that is that part of what George did in the original trilogy was he really wanted it to be a space romance, a space
opera,
and not in the sense of romance novel, but in the sense of medieval romance, like an adventure fairy tale. And towards that purpose, the language was all not necessarily old-fashioned, but just not...
It was all simple.
It was simple, and it was not colored by any slang.
Yeah, and it wasn't
unless it was
descriptive,
specifically the pilots on this ship all have this particular slang. That's for plot purposes. Yeah. But no modern slang, nothing that would tie it to any particular period at all.
Except Sister. I remember that. But that was okay, but that's fine.
It was character based.
Yeah, and it was character based too. Yeah, that was.
Whereas here, like that's what I said, for us to jump in with Poe making these weird,
his cell phone
jokes.
isn't working.
Yeah. His cell phone isn't. Are you there? I can hear you. I'm still here.
Oh yeah, and
Yo. Are you there yet? Are you
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. T-Mobile conversion. Yeah.
The second time I half expected to hear, can you hear me now?
Right? Yeah. Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated the fact that it started with a joke. Mm-hmm. I can't remember any good Star Wars movie that starts with a gag. This one started with a gag. They built tension for about 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They got Poe coming out to go meet in his poor little X-Wing to meet this massive, First Order fleet. And they're like, it's one little fighter coming out to meet us from the opposing fleet. This ought to be good. And then he opens up a command, communication.
Yeah.
and then he starts fucking with it like it's like a crank call.
Yeah, I wouldn't even settle for this isn't Hux. Put Hux on the line, and they have a conversation. They argue back and forth, and something happens. Not that I'll just keep holding.
But
now we hold in the Star Wars
forget
universe.
doing a joke. I mean, I get what they're trying to do.
They're trying to do that. Who talks first? Me or you?
Right, but they keep digging into the Poe's funny. He's our rogue. He's funny. I don't know. You got a couple of fucking rogues running around. Yeah. I think you're taking this the perk that the Han Solo character had all those years ago that everybody loves. I think you're taking it a bit too far because you're installing it in every other character.
Yeah.
Where they're all kind of roguish and everything. By the way, you just did a movie called Rogue fucking One. We get it, okay? And let me save the suspense. I bet I know who your favorite X-Men character is. Okay. Moving on, Disney. Moving on. I hated that it started with a joke. I hate it because none of the good Star Wars movies start with a gag. They start with, this is serious. Yeah, this is happening. The galaxy is in actual trouble. By the way, my cell phone doesn't really work that well. I'm going to fuck with this guy.
All the jokes in the good Star Wars movies just happen naturally.
Well, all of the jokes in here,
they felt at least
a lot of them were way too forced.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They felt organic.
There were
they were organic. Like Han going, "I'm fine here. How are you?" We're fucked.
They felt organic.
Yeah.
See, that's how the jokes in this
That's the kind of joke.
Yeah, that's exactly how these jokes
was that a good enough example?
So
that was
there
a perfect
were at least
example.
3 times too many jokes in this
Should
movie.
write the next Star Wars.
And a lot of them were forced, and a lot of them were. I mean,
corny.
Literally, I could have lost everything having to do with the porgs.
Oh, fuck those things.
As far as I'm concerned, the only reason they got put in the movie is to market toys to kids.
Absolutely.
They didn't really serve any important plot purpose.
Nothing.
Other than to be cute, new, funny things that we can have be funny all the time. Like we can have them glaring at Chewie while he's eating with them and making sad faces, and then we can have them thrown awkwardly against the window of the Falcon and blah, 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 blah. And none of them were actually funny. All of it felt really forced.
Yep.
And it was all CGI, so there was no actual acting happening.
Oh no, they were puppets.
Some were?
Yeah,
some of them. But it matters.
It doesn't matter. I was okay with
Jar
them
Jar
because they didn't do anything.
Jar Jar and Ewoks.
From the trailer, it made that one porg look like he was piloting the Falcon.
Ewoks, you gonna shit on the Ewoks?
No, listen. There's something to this.
Ewoks were to sell toys because they couldn't
afford to get exactly. One example you're gonna love, one example you're gonna hate. They're both applicable.
Yeah.
Jar Jar and Ewoks. Jar Jar was put in there by George to be cute and funny and for the kids to laugh and really adore her.
He's the comic
Same
relief.
thing with the fucking Space Bears, the Ewoks.
Yeah.
The problem is, not really a problem in the Ewoks case, they're pivotal to that story, that plot line in Return of the Jedi. And unfortunately, thanks to, Grandmaster Lucas.
Bad writing.
Right, that character is pivotal to what happens with the progression of the overall story arc of the whole series. The whole series is the reason that the Empire becomes the Empire. Right, so you can't remove him. Right, but they're pivotal to the plotline.
You can take the porgs out of this movie.
You can
any problem.
Rip the porgs out entirely. They're a huge distraction. I agree with you, Rachel, 100%. They're just there to sell toys. They weren't even. I mean, they're cute, but who gives a fuck?
They're puffins.
Every other little animal was cute.
Also, the weird, fish things that are the caretakers of the island, where...
Those were kind of cute.
You mean station?
Yeah,
right. Whatever those were. Could have done without those, too.
And those jokes, too.
And those jokes.
Yeah, those are bad, too.
Because, the running joke that only happens twice is Rey inadvertently...
destroys something of theirs.
Ruins something for them.
The first one was fine.
The first one was okay.
That was fine.
The second time, it's just, really, this
is
not a
Mars. The first one served a...
The first one was a natural organic joke.
As far as I was concerned, the only new creatures we needed to see in this movie were... I actually loved the shot of the sea serpent tail just ducking under the water behind Luke and Rey because it wasn't commented on and it was just a reminder that in these movies there's always monsters.
Yeah, I like that.
I kind of liked getting to see the monsters that are where the blue milk comes from.
Was it blue milk?
That was the blue milk.
A little callback to the...
obviously, the little crystal foxes were important plot-wise, and they were beautiful and adorable.
And they didn't do anything except...
obnoxious.
No, they did exactly what they were supposed to do.
They ran inside and they ran away.
Yeah.
That's it.
If I could take creatures out of a movie, I would take the weird fish things and I would take the porgs out and just leave the rest.
Oh, I would take the.
Wait, which
I would take
thing?
The station?
The caretaker.
Okay, the
station from
caretakers.
Yeah.
You want to be Avatar? My
Right.
cabbages.
No, I'm with
Or
Guy on
that's what
that.
it felt
Station
like.
from Villain's Head. Station.
Anyway, I could have done without them
I'm with you.
and without the porgs.
I can do that without the kind of
Oh,
horses.
yeah. On
That whole sequence can go.
Well, no, that's what I was talking about. That's the,
that entire plot.
What was it? It was
Well, that whole little subplot, that
Yeah,
storyline,
well, it was a-
you could chuck the whole thing.
it was a
out,
feedback loop.
Yeah,
It
that's
was.
stupid.
If they went,
That's stupid.
if they hadn't went and got a code hacker, none of their ships would have got destroyed, and the original plan would have completely worked.
Hey,
He's the one that told them there's cloak ships out there.
Hey,
yeah.
if Laura Dern
yeah,
told fucking
Anybody?
Oscar Isaac, just even Oscar Isaac,
anybody, yeah.
but just even
By the
one
way,
character.
this is my plan.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
way, this is our plan. You can ask this is General Organa's plan too. You can ask her yourself, but she's kind of asleep right now. But this is the plan, by the way.
Well,
You
that
have to do
was
that shit. Oh, okay, that's fine. And then boom, now the movie gets cut by 45 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, that was.
But it's way better because it makes
But
sense.
there's nothing for Poe to do, or Finn rather.
Right, there's nothing.
And there's nothing for our new character Rose.
They get to Rose and Finn to get to go downstairs and clean the rest of the ship together
and get to know each other.
and
that
get to
way.
know each other better.
That would have been more believable.
Because we're setting them up as the next Ross and Rachel. I don't know,
Which-
something.
I could do without that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, force.
Yeah.
Super force.
Everyone's got to get paired up. End scene.
So I mean, here's. I'll just take a stab since everybody else fell silent.
Yeah.
So my main problem. I mean, my two main problems are the excessive forced corny jokes.
Yeah.
Which just took
Yeah.
away from the tone for me. It
Oh,
ruined
yeah.
the tone, and
Yep.
what you were talking about it being that little giddy bubble of it's a Star Wars movie.
Star Wars.
Every time there was one of these forced corny jokes, which was like every 90 seconds,
Yeah.
took me out of that bubble.
Okay.
So there's that, and then the fact that the plots were multiple. Star Wars movies, I'm used to them having one plot.
One plot, three
Subplots.
three storylines.
Right.
They always have that.
Yeah.
There's the surface.
Yes.
There's the the Jedi.
But this was
Sith,
actually
and
three
then there's
plots.
the space battle.
But this was actually
That's
three
the three.
plots.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was three.
Because this was
This is three
the
plots. Not
last
storylines.
few ships of the Resistance trying to get away from the First Order. And that, as John and I have talked about, and as we all talked about outside the theater, we were actually really
I love that.
we
I
loved
love
the fact
that
that
setup.
for once it's
I
not
love
the
that
Resistance / the Rebellion on a lone planet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna get blown up.
Trying to avoid getting blown up by some planet or
Yeah.
moon-like
Yeah.
thing that the Empire / First Order
I-
has created.
I
now
love
we
seeing
actually
that.
have a fleet trying to escape trying to outrun another fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That everything's totally. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, except that then we got distracted by this stupid subplot that was literally a dead end loop
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Finn and Rose trying to go off to find a master code breaker. Except they don't find that code breaker. We only see him for half a second, and I don't know how much Justin Theroux paid to have that
If it's
30
even
second.
him,
No,
yeah.
that was Justin Theroux.
No, I mean if he's
was.
actually the master code breaker.
Yeah.
Well, he has a
Only to
stupid
then
idea,
encounter
whatever.
Benicio del Toro,
Yeah.
who was badass, sure, but
Arguably, I say one of the best characters in the movie.
I didn't like the stutter.
No, I liked it.
I didn't like
No,
it.
I liked it, but it's Benicio. He's
Anyway,
Anyway.
sorry, Rachel.
anyway, so there's this whole thing which only takes them in a loop, doesn't really go anywhere, only serves to give awkward backstory.
Yeah, the first time I
Yeah.
saw it, and he started talking, I'm like, I actually thought in my head, this doesn't happen in Star Wars. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that.
God damn
Then
it.
meanwhile, second plot.
Yeah.
You still with me?
Yeah.
So that's plot 1 and plot 1A. Then we have plot 2, which is Rey on this tiny island
island.
planet.
Whatever,
with
Jedi
Luke
island.
trying to get him to teach her how to be a Jedi, which is having its own foibles, which was the plot that we expected this movie would stick to mostly,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not the main plot.
No.
Not even close.
Then we have plot 3, which is Kylo Ren doing something, and that something appears to be getting tested by Snoke
Yeah.
repeatedly,
Yeah.
who, by the way, now can actually appear in the flesh instead of just appearing in a giant hologram.
Yeah, he's not Skyping anymore.
Not entirely sure why. That
And
took
for-
a lot away from him.
Yeah, and for some reason he's just like fucking Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. And then...
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
So I was bothered by the fact that we have these 3 disparate plots. And I get that in the traditional ones we've got one plot with 3 different levels to it that we're tracking with different characters.
Right. Yeah.
That I'm
one
used
plot,
to.
3
but this was
different lines.
literally 3 different plots.
Yeah.
And the cutting between them was so awkward. I felt like I was watching a serial TV series. It was like back at the ranch.
Yeah.
Back on Jedi Island.
Yeah.
Back on the First Order Dreadnought or whatever. So I didn't like that, and I didn't like that it all went on way too long. Like, we get to the mineral planet Kraith, whatever it is. It's a salt planet that conveniently looks an awful lot like a snow planet.
It's a lot like Hoth.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, it's after it snowed. That's why all the salt.
And then it just kept going. Like, that would have been such a good place to end, either when they landed or when Luke, who turns out to be astral projection Luke, walks out to have a lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren. Like, end there.
Yeah.
Don't drag it out. And then it turns out that Luke is really just giving the rebellion or the resistance
a chance to get away.
To get away. And then they get away. And for them to get away, Rey has to use her Jedi powers to do the most basic thing, which is lift rocks.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you guys catch the holy CGI Batman shots? Like there were like
Which
3 or 4 of them.
Which one?
when she first walks out to sit down.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
When it was the horrific green screen.
Yeah, and then she's doing the lifting rocks thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, by the time they landed on Kraith, I felt myself starting to look at my watch, going, "How much longer is this going to go? Where are they wrapping this up?"
The first time they landed there, like the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, sweet, there's going to be that snow thing." And then the other part, I was like, "Fuck, I hope there's not more shitty jokes."
Right. And then I was like, "Oh,
that's what it kept
okay,
turning into."
And guess what you got?
Finn is going to sacrifice himself by flying into the
mini Death Star
cannon.
They said Death Star technology.
They did.
Whatever.
They did.
Yeah.
He's going to fly into it. It's going to break it.
He's going to Randy Quaid it from
the end shot
Day,
is going to be him dying.
But yay.
Black.
Yeah, I was rooting for that.
Now we wait for 2 years for episode 9.
Yeah.
That would have been cool to me, but no, stupid Rose has to blow in. And, as John told me, because she has this super cheesy line about, no, it's not about destroying the things we hate. It's about saving the things we love. Boom, off goes this cannon to destroy everything you love.
Yeah.
Because you didn't destroy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Yeah. You know what? I mean, I need to sit Rose down and invoke a little Star Trek.
The needs of the many.
The needs of the many.
The needs of the few.
Or the one.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Finn sacrificing himself would have been great. But unfortunately, Boyega's probably signed on for the next one, and they can't have him in it. So, nope, we can't have that. We can't let that happen.
And you already had one self-sacrifice, which was one of the better scenes in the movie, but it was fucking cut all wrong.
It was cut weird. You're talking about the scene at the beginning with Rose's sister.
Actually, no, that would have been a third one. I was talking about the Admiral with the light speed. The light speed.
Oh, yeah, no, that was badass.
Oh, yeah, well,
was
Laura Dern, Holdo.
Yeah, but it was
I'm a
cut
Holdo.
wrong.
It wasn't great.
Well, it was like, okay.
But you know what? But you know what? I got past it because of what was happening.
Because it was badass.
And what happened. And that was like, okay, I was unsure about her because she's kind of a bitch when she takes charge.
Yeah.
And then, of course, why don't you tell them about the plan? Why wouldn't you tell anybody else about the plan?
Yeah.
This seems so stupid. You're a terrible leader, but you're acting like
Why does this plan need to be a secret?
There's no reason. You think it's going to leak to the guys that
Well, they might. The only
away?
thing I have for that is that it might not have known how they were being tracked.
But that doesn't matter.
On the other side, it's on Poe too to not tell her his plan after they left.
Okay, but you think that everybody would figure out her plan as soon as she started telling them, "Get in the ships, we're going to escape."
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be like? Why don't you just let them know ahead of time? Like, this is what we're going to do. When we get closer to the planet, we're going to get in the little ships and escape, and then we're going to make the big ship turn around. And, it'll be a distraction.
We'll see.
But when she jumped in the light speed and shot through the fucking ship,
that was cool.
Awesome. Blitz right through that massive ship.
Yeah.
The ship, we haven't seen anything that big since the Death Star. Zips right through it, right? Amazing, right? All I'm thinking is, why the fuck does the rebellion, the resistance, as if there's a fucking difference.
Why
don't they just go out and buy all the cheapest piece of shit ships in the galaxy that have hyperdrives on, and just fucking send remotely controlled, send them on suicide missions?
Why has nobody ever done this before?
Right? Why is this such a new idea? Why nobody thought of this? I would think the Hammerhead Corvette in Rogue One, right? Fist bump for that. You think they would have learned something? They're like, wait a minute, hey Bob, yeah. What if we didn't man the Hammerhead Corvette, but instead put a hyperdrive on it and then shot it through faster than light through one of these ships? Do you think that would cause any damage to it? Right through all their shields and out the ass end. Do you think that would help? We could get a small, teeny, tiny ship and go right down the access of a big.
There's like legislation in the First Order that there's no ship drones allowed. They're like, we're civil, we're not monsters.
Right. Again, so it's just very silly that it took them this long to figure this plan out. And if they don't do this in the next movie, I'm just going to say
it makes sense. Yeah.
No, I'm going to say like these people don't learn shit.
Exactly.
Because this whole movie, the whole big lesson that we are told from Yoda, who shows up. I think Frank Oz makes a cameo. No Obi-Wan, because I think I know why. But
thankfully it was puppet Yoda, not CG.
Thank God we saw that. Wasn't that awesome? You saw that too, right?
I think it was CG, but they followed the rules of the puppet.
No, I was on IMDb. It said it's puppet Yoda for the first time in a long time. Yeah,
cool.
It was the puppet that we remember from 1980.
I thought it was like the Lego movie because like the
I
know the Lego they followed it was CG, but they
made
followed
it look
the rules.
No, this was actually puppet Yoda.
This was a puppet, but they shot it in this
because of the Force Ghost lighting around him. It looked CG.
Right, but you know what? They shot it exactly the same way that George did back in 1979, 1980.
Okay.
It's the same effect, only the cameras are a lot better, so it looks a lot better, and the silver lining around it looks a lot better. But they shot it much in the same way, so it's like, okay, that's the closest we're going to get to a really good practical effect that we know and love.
We get him showing up.
He shows up and he explains the moral of the story. Here comes moral oral, but he has to bitch slap Luke around and say, listen, idiot, fuck those books. What's more important is the Force and the abilities, and then you can always relearn this other stuff. It's your job, I thought I told you, to pass your shit along to the next person. You're failed at that. Yeah. And guess what? You learned that that's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Learn from it. Our failures in life are just as important as our successes. You have to learn from both equally. That was the whole.
Well, he said that failures were better teachers than successes.
Right.
And what else?
Yeah, but that's the whole point of the whole movie.
The master's burden is to be surpassed.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole point of the movie is, listen, the Jedi have a horrible track record of success. The Jedi fuck up a lot.
Yeah, easily.
Go through every single movie. The Jedi have a shit fucking scoreboard.
Yeah, it was kind of.
They have a terrible record.
How he broke down the prequels, at the height of their power, they allowed this and this and that happen. Fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi trained Darth Vader. They don't fucking know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. They don't. They're actually really. The Jedis are actually really not good at their own jobs.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that they're supposed to learn from their mistakes. They're supposed to be wise for a reason. They learn from their mistakes and they get better each time. They're just not counting on the fact that the Sith just get even more better.
Where should we put this?
So,
basket.
So that was the whole point of the movie. And Yoda pointing out that the fact that the books don't matter. It's like, all right.
Yet they're miraculously on the Falcon at the end of the movie.
So they burn the books. Yoda, because all of a sudden the ghosts have powers that they can.
Finn gets a blanket to put over.
Yeah, the books are in there. I spotted them.
When he opens it, the books are in there.
I nudged Rachel. I was like, "Do you see that the Jedi books are in the drawer? They're in the drawer when they
IMDb confirmed it.
They're like, those are the books. I read out. I was like, did you see that? I think those are books. But that can't be. Because Yoda, when Luke was thinking about burning him down, but he couldn't quite do it, Yoda shows up, all of a sudden shows us a power that we didn't know about.
Introduces a huge ass plot hole,
Right, which says that Jedis can actually do things from beyond the grave, zaps the fucking thing on fire with lightning, and then presumably everything's burned. How the fuck did they get those things? Did Rey take them out beforehand and then skedaddle? I thought she was still on the island, the Jedi island.
They might not have been in there in the first place.
They showed us them in there.
Yeah.
So Rey took them out?
She might have taken them out.
I guess. I can only imagine.
With the Falcon.
I can only imagine so Rey stole them.
Yeah.
Well,
he wasn't going to teach her out of them, so...
She stole them. Okay.
Loki did. She just off-screen stole them.
Yeah.
Again, but it's all this off-screen shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and getting to the off-screen death. It's a trap. Who says that line?
Oh God, I know. Well, he was in the background for a
Yeah,
second.
I know. But that dude, the guy who's been,
memed about
all the time.
Yeah.
The line that every single person knows.
Yeah.
People who even are a Star Wars fan know Admiral Ackbar.
Yeah.
He goes and let's call it's basically an off-screen death. We don't really see.
I think you only see him once or twice.
I know,
That's it.
but then all of a sudden the command,
the bridge is destroyed.
and we're like, oh, he's dead. By the way, later on in the line of dialogue, it's like, shit. Well, okay, fine. But they're really cleaning out the last cast, making room for the new ones. Okay, fair enough, but. You think they would go out with
can we see him die?
Well, instead of Laura Dern, have him do that.
That would have been sweet.
Zap through hyperspace that would be a classy way for that dude to go out.
Yeah. And he was an admiral. I don't know why he wasn't in. Oh, he was dead. That's why.
Because he was dead.
Yeah.
But you can't do that because if he had survived the bridge, then Laura Dern wouldn't have been in charge. He would have been in charge, and then I don't know. He probably would have
wouldn't have been a problem.
Exactly, he would have made correct decisions and told everybody the plan, and then all of a sudden you wouldn't need the stupid subplot to go and fix the magic GPS unit.
But the trip to the capital was worth it because
they went to the planet Monaco in the Vegas galaxy, which I thought was kind of cheesy and hokey, and
they even had an opera
filled with jokes, and it was filled with a space horse race.
And it had the cantina music.
I know, but it was all about Rose to show up and to tell her backstory.
That was the preaching.
That was the preaching. And to preach about I don't like slavery. They treat us like slaves, and look how they treat look closer how they treat the animals
and the kids.
I know, and I was like, we don't. This is fucking Star Wars. What the fuck? It's not a Lifetime movie. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And then only to come out and find out that we didn't need that whole 45-minute sequence at all. That whole subplot at all.
Because it ruined the original plan.
Because Laura Dern wouldn't open her fucking mouth. But again, then those characters wouldn't have anything to do. And they need something to do because they put too many fucking characters in this movie. They introduced too many people at once. So now the writing team, and I don't believe it's just Ryan, are sitting down trying to write for every single one of these characters. They all have to have something important to do.
Yeah, don't forget.
And they all have to have comic relief. And if they don't have a comic relief person there or character there,
like a shitty joke,
like a droid or something, then they have to do a shitty joke. And even sometimes, like with Poe, who has a little comedy sidekick, BB-8, right behind him, he still does the shitty, corny jokes. And it's his own comic relief. Again, if you took out 2/3, like I'm saying, if you took out 2/3 of the jokes out of this movie, I'd like it so much more. Because I stopped caring. You could not build tension in this movie to save your life without all of a sudden there's like a funny thing that droid said.
Well, there was even when Rey was in the throne room with Snoke and she tried to grab the lightsaber. And he whips it around and hits her in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So
we're like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Do we really need slapstick?
Apparently the Marx Brothers are in that, or his guards, and they're pulling pranks. There was too much funny in this.
Yeah.
And it's just saturated.
Also, I was really hoping that a lot of questions that got brought up in The Force Awakens would at least sort of start to get answered.
No.
But not only did they not, but I feel like things were left even worse. So not only did we not learn anything more about who Snoke is, but now he's dead.
He's dead, yeah.
Now we'll never know.
And he's older than he's older than the prequels.
Yeah, I'd like to think he was Palpatine's teacher, but hey, you know what?
But
we'll never know.
It doesn't matter now.
Exactly, because it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter.
Here's the thing: is I feel like it does still matter because in the little bit of the repeated flashbacks we get from like 7 different perspectives of Luke and Kylo, is the repeated insistence is by the point that they had their fatal interaction, Kylo had already been approached and turned by Snoke.
Right.
Who and how and why? Like, who is Snoke? Where was he in hiding? Because theoretically, this all happened during the brief period that the Resistance/Rebellion was actually in charge, and there was harmony.
Yeah.
Who was he? Where was he in hiding? How did he reach out to Kylo? Why did he reach out to Kylo? Who was he ever? Why was his face all mangled like that? We don't know. And so
we're never gonna know.
And so much of the import that I feel like... Because, other characters we've seen, other Jedi we've seen be tempted by the dark side, there's been reason for them to be tempted by the dark side. Whether it's I can save the woman I love from dying, or I can protect my friends, or I can help out this person. There's always a reason. We don't know what it is that Snoke tempted Kylo with. All we know is he was powerful, and then...
He was really powerful, and...
I saw darkness in him.
And I saw darkness in him, and instead of talking to him, instead of using my words, I decided to kill him and not turn off my lightsaber when I decided I wasn't going to kill him.
Right.
So I kind of created him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not good at being a teacher.
Or an uncle.
I was,
but, you know.
I was
like, worst uncle ever.
Yeah. I was all over the place with that scene. Yeah. Like, I either love this scene or I'm going to hate it. I cannot tell yet. But I'm loving big parts of it. I'm hating certain parts of it, like the slapstick thing. Just sucked all the tension out of the air.
Yeah.
It murdered that scene. I should have been on the edge of my seat. And all of a sudden I sat back and I'm like, wait a minute. That's not supposed to be funny. What the fuck is happening here? Mm-hmm.
So, and then we, of course, get the thing that people have been clamoring about for 2 years since Force Awakens came out, which is who are Rey's parents. Mm-hmm. And...
oh, God, did they tease us.
Again, we get...
nothing.
A big sack of even more questions. So we have Rey go into this like weird dark side cave that's also a hallucination like Luke in the swamps on Dagobah.
Yeah.
Where she sees a series of reflections, but they're not quite reflections because they're all moving at different times. So it's just a bunch of iterations of herself.
That should have been a good scene.
It should have been, and it just...
you know?
They dropped it. Like, there was something that I kept expecting to happen, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but... Something. And then, she's seeing some figures moving towards her in the mist, and we're going to think that's her parents. And then it's her.
No, I can only think of Dagobah, Luke, the cave, Vader, and then he's in the Vader mask when he kills Vader. And that's the only thing I could think of, is this is Rian Johnson's version of we're going to put this in. But unfortunately... I don't think he knew what he was trying to do.
Right, because
with that scene. Because I didn't get anything. It didn't get across to me as the viewer. So what the fuck was he trying to accomplish there?
Because the message of that scene with Luke on Dagobah is, oh man, there's the potential for me to go dark at any second. Mm. I have to watch myself. Sure. What was the point of this with Rey?
Yeah, but we thought we knew that already. I thought that was kind of already a narrative. I could go to the dark side at any point. Like, well, as the viewer, we know this.
Right, but I'm saying that's the point of that scene with Luke.
Know that,
what's the point of this scene with her?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would it be a callback to episode 1 where it's like an Immaculate Conception, where it's like...
Well, that's what I thought they were actually leaning towards.
You guys are forgetting. Okay, remember the one little hint that they threw in there, which just sounds like bullshit because it sounds like a bullshit story excuse. Like, your parents were nobodies. They died in a common tomb.
They sold you for drinking money.
Right, and they said they buried you in a common tomb, blah, 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 that's it. Okay, clearly that's some bullshit that somebody just threw out there just to get her off the trail of finding her parents, because her parents must be important in some way, shape, or form. But if you at all remember this very teeny tiny little scene in Force Awakens where she has a flashback from when she was a kid, she's standing on Jakku, she's being held by her hand by the big fucking creepy dude at the bartering plant,
and somebody is flying off.
And she's crying, come back, and presumably that's her parents in the spaceship leaving the planet, and she's crying, no, and she was left behind. Now, so it wasn't they were these beat farmers or whatever the fuck they were on Jakku, and they were
nobodies.
Right, that's obviously not the case. Otherwise, why even have that scene? And
so
how
can
you
I chime in
that?
with something I was reading before I came over here
Please.
on EW?
Yeah, please.
So it was talking to Rian Johnson about that point and about like, well, okay, so where are we going with that? Do you know what JJ is doing in episode 9? He was like, well, they're writing episode 9. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but keep in mind that like, so yes.
Great.
Snoke and Kylo 100% believe that Rey's parents were nobodies.
Okay.
But what is somebody that they consider to be a nobody?
Yeah. Okay.
So apparently we're leaving...
Well, I mean, just for the simple fact that they believe her parents to be nobodies, could be a tactic by whoever was keeping an eye on her.
Of course.
To keep her safe. Much like we're going to send Luke to this planet, and then we're going to send Leia to that planet, and they're going to be raised separately, and then they're not going to know who they really are, and then that way their father can't find them, blah. So, okay, well, let's rehash that story again, that tactic again, because, well, it worked. We bought it 40 years ago. Why wouldn't we buy it now? Again, more member berries, but it worked. I could see that. But
Well,
we didn't get any clues.
The flashback worked both ways because her parents, like he said, what sold into slavery for booze, so her parents could have lived on the other side of the planet and just sold them.
Yeah, but you could tell that was bullshit.
Why would they be taking off on a spaceship?
No, but they didn't.
They weren't going to the
No, but they didn't remind us of that scene in this movie, and they did that on purpose.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
So if we hear this line of dialogue, we'll just believe it. But people are
and just like the very end. Now it's back to it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be somebody who's special to start with.
I mean,
they kept saying the balance in the Force. I thought it was Skywalker, but he kind of.
I kept waiting to see when she gets through all the mirrors and shit and the hazy figure comes. I kept waiting to see, like, all right, is it going to be Alec Guinness or is it going to be Ewan McGregor? Because you would have said time and time again, I will definitely come back if they want to use me as a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know who they're going to piss off by me and not being Alec Guinness. But I will definitely come back. I am waiting by the phone if JJ wants to call me. That's what he said 2 years ago. Still, apparently nobody's called him.
Well, speaking of the Force ghosts, why didn't you do something a long fucking time ago?
So if Yoda can come back and have lightning strike a tree all this time, he's had other stuff to do?
30 years. The guy's busy in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Not too busy to come back and burn down a tree.
No, not too busy for that. He uses Force lightning to burn down a tree. I mean... Again, some of these decisions...
It's like a high-budget fan film.
Yeah, I know, but like some of the decisions are why didn't this character do this? That was a bonehead move. Why didn't the character do that? These are bonehead moves. Bonehead moves are only show off like, maybe the character's not as smart as we gave him credit for. They're not necessarily plot holes. They're just maybe...
Yeah, but Yoda's supposed to be the wisest, smartest person in the galaxy.
And there'll be some really weird explanation as to, I wanted to make sure the universe unfolds as it should.
We can only interfere.
But
now I'm going to interfere now.
Right. Yeah. It seems odd. But he interfered to get his pupil back on track. Weird, because the guy's been stuck on that island for quite some time.
But he's cut himself off from the Force, so you actually could have been hanging out the whole time.
And be like, dude, pick up your phone. Turn your cell phone service back on. I'm trying to talk to you. Okay, I'll see that. I'll see that as
and then I was thinking too, maybe that's the only reason he can do something because that's the oldest Jedi temple.
Maybe it's just on that planet. Yeah.
Switch with sprint you must.
I mean, I see it instead of plot holes. I see them more as just dumb actions by characters.
Yeah.
A plot hole meaning like, wait a minute. Then this scene they have the gun, and the scene right after that they all of a sudden don't have a gun. What happened to the gun? Wait, what happened? And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, they have the gun again. Why did they say they didn't have a gun? Like that's kind of a plot hole. Like I don't get that. But this, it just seems like they were making a lot of dumb decisions with no reason.
There was bad writing too.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like because I think they had too many characters to keep track of, and they couldn't pour enough into any one because they're trying to bring in too many characters too quickly. You could have gotten rid of Rose, I would have been fine. Mm-hmm. When I thought she might have been dead at the end, I was grabbing Rachel's arm like, she's dead. Yeah, good. I don't want to see this bitch anymore.
Oh, and that was kind of horrible too.
People go nuts over her. I think she's shit for the franchise.
Well, no, it was horrible because you have to realize, it's kind of a plot hole. They crash in front of the gun.
And nobody sees them.
And they didn't get hit by it?
No, forget that.
Yeah, nobody shoots
No one shoots the eye.
Well, forget that too. While Kylo
We're forgetting a lot here, man.
He drags her all the way back to the base.
I know.
Right.
Nobody
Somehow
shoots him.
completely unnoticed.
He's like,
nobody.
Now that that's over, look what I found. Let's go.
Yeah, nobody shoots them. Yeah. That whole attack force just ignores them. We're like, whatever. We'll let them get away. Wait a minute, no you won't. I thought you just said no survivors, no prisoners, nothing. We'll give no quarter. Like, I don't,
Hux just got tossed around way too much.
In the First Order's defense, I mean, you have Kylo and Luke battling it out.
I sort of got the impression that by the end, Hux's attitude was...
They weren't battling out. He was just swinging and missing. Luke was just dodging.
I got the impression that by the end, because they even gave us a shot of Hux's face like this, that he was just like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
A crazy guy is now in charge of me, and he has superpowers, so he can kill me if I don't do what he says.
Oh, yeah.
But he's completely unhinged.
Everything was on track when Snoke was in charge. You're right. Everything made sense.
According to Hux, it did.
No, I know. No, and I get what you're saying. Like, shit. Well, I mean, okay, I was kind of a big Trump fan, but fuck, now it's Pence. Oh god, like that's what I'm thinking. Huck's saying, like I guess.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'd say
President Pence is dead. Now we have Vice President Trump as. I don't know how he's looking at it.
I don't know. I'd say Snoke
doesn't look great.
Because in a day he took over the galaxy pretty much.
Well, here's the thing. At any given time, the Empire, First Order, New Order, whatever you want to call it, at any given time, they are in charge of the galaxy. They won. Not they will win. Well, no, at any given time, they are in charge. Even when they are the Republic, because the Republic becomes the Empire.
At the beginning of Force Awakens,
at any given
time. They were an outlying military organization.
Then why would you need a resistance? Why wouldn't you have the Republic Army?
You had the Republic Army, they destroyed it.
No, I know, but in the beginning of the movie,
the politics
there was still the resistance.
Yeah, to the...
What are they resisting? The other resistance. Sorry.
They're resisting the Republic's condoning of the new First Order.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah. The Republic's condoning of the... Okay.
Yeah. As best I can remember from what I had to read, because it wasn't in the movie.
I don't remember that at all. They got Death Stars and Star Destroyers. Yeah. It seems an awful lot like what the Republic hates.
Yeah.
It just seems like that. You know,
that's the best I can remember. And needed a Lucasfilm breakdown.
And by the way, the First Order since day one has always been like, we're in it to run the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're in it to say fuck the Republic. Mm-hmm. So the simple fact that the Republic's like, well, we condemn that. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, do you just not want to step on their First Amendment rights in the galaxy or something? I mean, they're declaring open war against you, and the only people that are willing to come to your defense are the Resistance.
Yeah,
who are resisting the now new resistance called the First Order.
Yeah, it was completely muddled in the first movie. That's the problem.
So who was the status quo? If the First Order is kind of an outlier, like you said, and the resistance is this kind of like ragtag bunch of people who over the past 30 years couldn't figure out to build new ships.
Yeah. No, they got updated versions.
they got new stickers. You know? Yeah. Pose was spray painted black. Yeah. Yay. Yeah, I mean. But I mean, it seemed like there was no Republic.
Yeah, army. I know. I didn't write the story.
I know. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling to you. Like, understand my pain.
Snoke was crazy too, but he did a better job of leadership.
I mean, I think Rian Johnson inherited that broken story that everybody was so gaga about.
Yeah.
From when they saw Force Awakens, because member berries taste good.
Yeah, but
he inherited all of these terrible plots and storylines that he has to dovetail off of. I understand why,
but he kind of dovetailed off them kind of horribly.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, forget that.
He tried to do what I would suggest, which is very simple: do something different. Okay, he did.
But not that different, though.
Yeah, he had to keep throwing these little things because I think he got too many notes from Lucasfilm,
there's a lot,
Kathleen Kennedy.
There's like a
Marvel,
like I said, there's a lot of
Disney
back in here.
There's
but not successfully.
I know that's the problem.
It doesn't work, but you know it looks pretty on screen. So as a result, I checked. Rotten Tomatoes has a 93% for this movie.
Really? Critics,
Rotten Tomatoes,
or audience?
I think it was. I didn't check. I didn't check. Yeah. IMDb has 8 out of 10. That's definitely audience.
Yeah.
But when the last time I checked an article, but I didn't check the actual numbers. I just saw the difference. And the difference was 40% critics versus fans, meaning fans like this movie 40% more than the critics. So
that 93% is probably the fans, which means it's got a 53.
Right. So giving them the benefit of the doubt and not going by 80% on IMDb, but going 93%, take away 40% of that, the critics give it a 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm willing to side on with that. 50% of the movie I really liked. The other 50% of the movie I couldn't follow. I was kind of frustrated with, and I didn't get anything out of.
Agreed.
You know, the other 50% I was fine. You know, the visuals are great. The member berries taste great. You know,
the lightsaber fight at the end was pretty good. And
there
was only one.
There was only one real one. Yeah. But still, I mean,
real.
Yeah.
I mean, the fight.
I mean, one that didn't involve
the fight with Rey and Kylo Ren and Snoke's Red Samurai.
Like that.
That was a pretty awesome fight sequence.
And it was so fucking
brutal.
I
know,
and especially the last with like Rey chucking Kylo the lightsaber to
just one little shot right to the face. Again, that was
Like,
cool.
that was awesome.
And that's what a Sith would do. That's what a Jedi would do.
The whole time I was like, I am all here for this scene.
Right. I am forgetting the little bounce in the head that Rey took from the lightsaber, which was hard to forget, but I am starting to forget that. After seeing that fight, I'm like, that was probably one of the best fights, if not the best fight in the whole movie so far. And then turned out, arguably the best fight in the movie.
Yeah.
But again, the other parts I liked. I really liked. The other parts I couldn't really follow, didn't get engaged with, didn't understand.
Because there was a lot, like watching this movie, there was a lot of, that was funny. Why am I laughing? It's fucking Star Wars.
Right?
Or why is there a joke here?
Why is there a joke here? Or
every
that
5
wasn't
minutes.
even funny.
Why is there a joke every five fucking minutes? Actually, that's being generous. It's more like every couple of minutes.
Yeah.
There's every beat.
On average.
Every beat, there's
there were
another
longer
gag.
stretches where there wasn't, but then there were also stretches where it was every 30 seconds.
That's true.
So, on average, I would say it was about every 2 minutes.
So it's going to wind up being like an hour and a half movie with all the gags.
All right, I'll give you this. The A New Hope and Empire and... Okay, I'll give you a Return of the Jedi so we can mix it up a little bit. Who's the comic relief in those 3 movies? The original 3.
The droids and the organic jokes. There aren't any jokes. That's the thing. There aren't any jokes. They're just funny things that happen. There's
a little lizard in front of Jabba's palace that uses its tongue, grabs the little thing, and burps.
Right.
Yeah. Takes half a second. Pretty funny, but we're about to deal with very serious shit, and we're still dealing with it.
There's a rude door droid.
Right.
The droids are funny.
But the droids are the one interacting with it.
But those scenes only ever last like a max of 1 minute.
All right, you get to Return of the Jedi. Okay, I'll raise the stakes. Empire, a lot more serious. There's like nothing funny in that movie. And you know what? Arguably, the best fucking movie. Okay, yeah. But then that turns serious really...
R2,
right, and that turns serious really quick.
Yeah.
And then,
but they're all organic.
Because
there wasn't
forced.
Hang on.
No, but
let's have a joke here.
No, but because Yoda has a purpose for being funny.
Right.
The droids have a purpose for being funny because they're kind of naive and everything's kind of new and they can't compute this or that. When Yoda is funny, it's him just being jaded. I want to say jaded.
Crazy person.
I want to say jaded, but jaded is not the right word. At first, you think he's crazy, and you think he's going to lead you to Yoda, if you remember. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay, so you think he's just a wacky little character that's going to lead us to Yoda. This will be fun. It turns out he is Yoda. But when he drops these little jokes here and there, after you realize he is Yoda, and he drops it by explaining, you will be. He's 900 years old. He's 900 years old. After a certain point, he's seen fucking everything. And he lives on this planet alone. Mm-hmm.
Everything is funny to him.
The only thing he's got left is his kind of sense of humor. He's cracked a little bit. So it actually goes towards his character.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're all organic in the original trilogy.
Exactly. In this one, we're going to make this character funny for no reason.
We're going to throw a joke in here.
Right. It's just, it's painful. But who are the comic relief characters in this movie? Everybody. Now that we've explained, it's like Yoda and the droids, and then I'll give you one Ewok in Return of the Jedi. Who are the comic relief characters in this movie?
Yeah, everybody gets a joke.
Everybody's funny.
Yeah.
Every single person. Even fucking Snoke is funny when he fucking
everybody gets
whacks fucking Rey in the head with it. Like, ha ha ha! Look at that. Yeah. Everybody gets a gag. The most serious people
also
even get gags. It's sad.
Okay, here's one of my absolute least favorite moments in the movie, and you and I groaned and looked at each other.
Oh, which one?
Okay, so unbeknownst to them, it's Snoke who's making Rey and Kylo Ren have this weird force mind meld where every once in a while they see each other. So, like, second, third time it happens, it just so happens that when it happens, Kylo Ren is shirtless. And Rey...
Can you put a shirt on?
Can you put a shirt or smock... No. You're not, like, having a mind meld with the evil person you're trying to destroy. Right. It's not like there's something important going on. No, you have to be modest and make a weird comment about him being shirtless makes you uncomfortable. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
This is...
And, like, there was so much... That just was the perfect thing where I thought it was about that tone being chipped away at.
Really? That ruined the tone for that scene.
Because there's something so cool that when they started, like, When I can see him, he can see me.
Like, this is a new dimension
I
to
can
the
see
story.
where he is. He says he can't see where I am.
Yeah. So here's a new
There's
little
tension. What's happening? Why are we connected this way? Is it because we're siblings? Because there's all these people who say...
Who's going to learn what about who?
Yeah.
Right.
Are they going to learn this location?
But no,
of
we have to have a stupid sitcom line
it's a
about,
sitcom line.
can't you put on a shirt?
Yeah, I actually made a joke about that
And
before I saw it on
ruins the
Thursday
tone.
with my friend. I'm like, the second time I see this, I'm gonna say, God damn, if somebody gets their shirt off, and sure enough, it came up, and I was like, and like in my head, I was like, God damn. What?
No, you couldn't build tension to save your life in this movie. Because as soon as they do it, they chop the legs out from under it with a corny one-liner.
Or by cutting to another plot.
Yeah, because you think,
or let's just cut to another plot.
Wait,
what was going? Wait, stay with that for 5 more seconds. I want to see what happens.
Or 5 more minutes, please. Develop a plot.
No, we got to see what Rose and Finn are doing downstairs in the belly of the ship. Like what? No, we don't. That can wait. Yeah, back at the ranch.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Well, see, that's why I had a big problem with that, with the Lightspeed scene. Because I'm like, at the end, where she shatters it. Yeah. So that happens. Everybody was hanging out on the hangar deck. That happens.
And none of them were killed by it.
None of them were killed.
That's fine.
None of the named characters.
But that's fine. But all of a sudden, she's dragging him. All those troops have completely disappeared.
Oh, they're dead. Yeah, they're sucked out.
And they're behind another door somewhere.
Ray has somehow snuck off the ship while Kylo lies unconscious.
It should have come back to them in the throne room.
Yeah.
Because that was a more important story.
It was the last place we saw
them.
them.
Then you go back to them in the hangar, like, okay, that gives all those people time to disappear. And leave that one shuttle all by itself.
Yeah, it was very convenient. It was one shuttle.
I have to admit, it was kind of cute the way BB-8 was holding the controls to the thing and pushing buttons like this to make everything happen.
But overshadowed by the million other little gags.
Exactly.
And by the way, if BB-8 is going to take up the mantle of doing all the R2 bits that R2's been doing for 30 years
Let him do them.
Let him do them, but then don't keep throwing R2 in there to do something funny every now and again. The one time he did something funny that I appreciate was when he shows you that little flashback. Do you remember Leia when she first got you involved?
That kind of got me.
And then he's like, me too.
It's like,
because member berries taste good. But you know what? It was good because that one actually fit in the plot. It fit in the story. It was about Luke's motivation.
Right.
Yeah.
That one actually worked, and that one worked on every level.
And then he ruined it by saying that's a cheap shot.
Right.
Like that's not how people in Star Wars speak.
Nobody says the term cheap shot.
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
That's not how Luke would have. That's not how you should respond to that. This is like a very serious thing. The funny part was him just showing it. You could have given him like a weird expression. And then explained your motivation to him, meaning to us, the audience. Like, okay, you made your point.
Did you catch the twin suns rising at the end?
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
While Luke is
it's like Tatooine.
He's like vaporizing.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say? I live here. I'm going to die here. Yeah. This is it. I'm not leaving here. That's what he said, and he didn't. I mean, I don't know. There were so many things. I mean, I can only imagine now we're going to see Mark Hamill in the Ghost. Thing, which means we're not going to have to see Yoda or Obi-Wan, even though I really kind of want to see Obi-Wan, but I don't know how they're going to do it, if they're going to pick Ewan, or if they're going to make a CGI Alec Guinness.
Also,
I'd be curious to see both.
If we're putting all of the Force ghosts together, are we going to see fucking Ghost Anakin again?
Hayden? Yeah. You mean Hayden? Because they changed it.
Like they changed...
so so Luke should have been like, who's this kid over here?
Yeah.
But... remember, they're very careful not to mention the prequels.
At all.
They're very careful.
They did in this one.
How so?
Well, where?
At the height of their power, the Jedi allowed Darth Sidious to take over.
That's true.
Destroyed.
By referring to him as Darth Sidious instead of Emperor Palpatine, that was a nod to the...
That is true. That is true. I'll give you that.
But still.
But not much else.
Nobody's saying whispering the word fucking midichlorians ever again.
Thank God.
Nobody likes it.
I was nervous about that when Luke
starts to... Which would have been a good storyline if they did anything with it.
I'll tell you the only reason why I would have liked it. The only fucking reason is at the very, 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 very end of the movie, we see the little kid with the broom who's powerful with the Force for no reason. He just happens to be able to do it.
Well, he's like Ray because she came from nowhere.
No,
and it can come from nowhere.
No, he's supposed to be like every kid in the audience who doesn't like being told if you don't have the right blood type, you can't be a Jedi.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be anybody can do this.
Yeah.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
I like.
And then George changed his mind and said, nah, only people with AB positive blood can do this. with the perfect mix of midi-chlorians.
See, if they would have explored that, they could have done something with if it's that thing in your blood moving it around and being able to give it to anybody.
Yeah, but why complicate that situation?
Yeah, I know.
Why bother? Don't even bring it up. Which is why they're not bringing it up.
That's why they disappeared after the first movie.
Exactly. That was a smart move.
I liked that last bit. I know it wasn't your favorite.
I just saw them selling action figures. There was too many opportunities to sell toys in this movie.
I agree, but I liked that because the whole point of because first we end on there's not many of us left. No, but we'll grow. We are left. That's what's important. Yeah. And then we see that there's a new generation who are telling the stories of Luke. Yeah. And they're wearing the Resistance ring. Yeah. And they have
and that kid has the Force. Yeah.
Some innate Force talent. Like that's a new generation rising, and that I liked that it's a new generation rising. Yeah. It's somebody who couldn't possibly be a Skywalker because.
Okay, I'll tell you the better way to rewrite that.
Okay.
Do you want to skip up to rewrites?
Sure. I don't want to do the whole fucking movie. Yeah, we're going to be here for 7 hours if we take a crack at that.
We can cut here and there. We can
cut 2/3 of the jokes. That's my reading.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, really.
Cut all the inorganic.
Really,
and cut the porgs.
Right. Some simple ones that'll take up like 90% of the movie is things like that. Like cut the porgs, cut the stupid offshoot. I'm going to go and
really
find
forced jokes.
No, the stupid subplot of
going to go the trip to the capital.
Right. Yeah. To Monaco. Or Vegas. The trip to Vegas. Forget.
No, it was Monaco. It was
Monaco. It was ritzy. Yeah.
I think it.
You can cut that because you can make the plot of them just trying to outrun.
No, I'm actually going to re-edit the movie and probably cut that out.
Okay. Well, just
because it's bookended.
The thing's already 2.5 hours long. I don't want to do the whole thing. Some basic ones. Yeah. Cut this.
How would you rewrite that last scene?
That last scene, though, I have a really good way to rewrite it. By just changing the very last scene of that little sequence. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're all playing. They're talking in that other language, not English, obviously. So they're kids from another planet, as we see, and they're telling the stories or whatever. And then the grown up comes in and tells them to get the fuck out, the slave master or whatever. What I'd like to see is the kids scatter and then kind of recoalesce back together somewhere like out of earshot from this guy, and they start trying to pretend to move shit. Like they start trying to pretend to like move a rock or move a toaster because they tell all the legends. So like he could move it with his eye, and then you see one kid holding up something in one hand, and then with his other hand like waving and pointing at it as if it's floating, and then they all try to do it with their minds, and then they can't do it, as if anybody who's ever grew up with these movies has ever tried to like hold something in their hand and then point to it and then really think, can I get that thing to move? Yeah, exactly.
We've all tried.
Let's
not lie.
We've all tried. But you make them all try, and then the slave master comes back and says, get back to work or whatever. And they all kind of scatter except the one little boy with the broom. And he's the only guy who didn't try it on screen is to move that one thing. So he looks at it when nobody's looking, everybody's gone, and he's like, let me see if I can do it. And he points to it and actually thinks, and you get a slow zoom into his face, and he gets really, really into it. And a cute little 8-year-old making a squishy, like, serious face. It's kind of cute. And then all of a sudden, the thing moves a little bit. And he actually can pull it off. But he can't just, like, willy-nilly. Because at the end, he's, like, grabbing the broom, and it's like...
Well, he grabs for the broom, and he's walking away, and it moves into his hand like he didn't even know he did it.
No, it seems like... It almost seemed like he was...
I thought it was subtle.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have been a little smaller on a smaller scale. This is a kid who needs to be taught.
I also like
not this is a kid who can already do this shit.
Right. The thing that I like about your rewrite of it is the way that he just reached for the broom and it moved on its own, 2 inches into his hand, was that he seemed to already know that he had that ability. And what I like about your rewrite is he discovers it.
That's what I want to say.
That's what I like. Is I like to see. And
that's my point. They grow up with the legends, and he discovers he can do it. And he doesn't have to go into his hand. He just moves it a little bit.
It just twitches a little bit.
Think about the rocks floating off of the coffin at the end of Batman v Superman. You're like, oh, he's not dead. I saw the rocks move.
Except that that doesn't follow up in Justice League, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, but that's a different story. That's a different story. But even that one little thing, I would cut a lot of shit, and I would make that addition.
I would have them playing with the toys, and the guy like runs in and scatters them.
Yeah.
And then he reaches for Luke Skywalker twice, and then it pops into his hand and he walks away, not knowing it actually happened.
How would you not know?
The toys. Like he's reaching for, he's like, the slave master comes in and they scatter and take the toys with him. Like he's looking at the slave master's afraid, and he reaches for Luke Skywalker once, twice, and then Luke Skywalker pops into his hand, but he thinks he grabbed it. So we see it move into his hand, but he doesn't know that it happened.
Yeah, but then...
I don't know. I kind of like John's a little bit better because I want to see his face when he realizes
I want
he's
to
done
see surprised, like, I can do this. Because that's the face that they want at Disney, every kid in the audience to make when they go home and they play with their actors.
Do you think they'll skip this time?
Skip what?
With the next movie?
What do you think?
Do you think there'll be a time lapse?
I
hope so.
Yeah.
Because
here's why I think they absolutely
aren't
will.
they setting up Rey to be the new teacher?
Yeah.
Here's why I think they absolutely will.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to have Leia's death happen off screen.
Oh, yeah.
And if episode 9 starts right where this one leaves off, then that's going to be super awkward. If 2 years have passed, it's easier to just have in the opening crawl, once the Resistance reached planet Gobbledy-Flarb,
Princess Leia's been assassinated.
General Organa died in blah-de-blue-de-blah way.
No, I think you do it like that. I think you start the next movie with her assassination.
General Organa has been assassinated.
General Organa has been assassinated in her sleep. Now the race is to figure out who wanted it, who is within the Resistance that wants it to fail, who is the traitor. The search for the traitor is threatening to tear the Resistance in two.
Under the weight of Princess Organa's assassination, the Resistance is crumbling.
It's threatened to tear in two, in that their friend accuses friend. That's how you start it off. That's how you can, I think,
try and save
save an off-screen death.
No jokes
for Carrie Fisher. Yeah, no more jokes. It's not a comedy.
But anyway, to answer your question, yes, I think there will be a time jump rather than starting where we left off.
Well, I think there has to be because this is going to be the third in this trilogy.
No, you're right.
And
but the joke that I could think of they could use for the gag with the Leia pass is like they give her old haircut back. It's like, so you want the old haircut? It's like, yes. That's
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck was with that line? I know what you're going to say.
My hair's different.
I changed my hair.
What the fuck? Yes.
You're seeing your twin brother for the first time since...
many years.
In, 10-ish years. Yeah. The last time you saw him, you sent your son off to be trained by him.
You've been hunting for him and searching for him.
In the meantime, your son has turned evil, killed the husband you were estranged from, and all you have to say to your brother is, I know I changed my hair. I know the point was, there's so much to say, I could never say it all, so all I'm going to do is make a joke. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there was a better way to write that.
Yeah.
That's kind of this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a better way to write that.
Yeah. Actually, not even changed. Drop the trip to the capital, Monaco planet.
Yep, get that out.
Yeah.
Fix the writing. Everything else can stay.
Well, I would change a few things here and there to make it better,
but not cost anymore.
But
actually, be cheaper.
But it wouldn't be it wouldn't be in an effort to save the movie. I think it would just make this part better, make that part better.
Yeah.
If you cut out half of this shit,
it would make it better.
That saves the movie.
Yeah.
Cut out the Monaco. Just stay on we gotta make it close enough to this planet. And then you can have problems along the way.
Which I like that was part of the whole plan in the first place. That was kind of cool, too.
Yeah, I didn't understand or get why it was top secret. And that ruined a lot of things.
Are we ever going to find out what happened? Because you said Kylo basically just destroyed everything.
Oh, I know where you're going.
He took half the kids were slaughtered. Half the kids he took. I'm like...
What happened to them?
Yeah, there should be at least 6, because they have 12, 14 kids.
Yeah,
there should be at least 6
should all be adults.
Yeah,
they're all adults.
Where are they?
Or teenagers, depending on how old they were.
Did we not introduce enough new characters?
Oh, they could be the red.
I know.
I mean, they could be the Red Samurai, I guess, but that'd be a.
But they weren't Force users.
No, they weren't. They were using spears,
and they weren't using lightsabers.
Yeah,
no, that's true.
So what happened to them? Did they all die because Snoke found them unworthy?
They're all in hiding, and Rey has to go and find them.
But Kylo took them.
Where'd he put them?
He killed everybody else.
He killed everyone
in the first flashback from the first one.
That's
kind of the problem. There's a lot of stuff from the first one that's just ignored.
Well, I think
that's why it feels like a fan film.
Well, I think they're going to set up Rey to be
The new Luke.
to do what Luke failed at doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're going to set her up to be a teacher. They can't do that overnight. So I think they have to move time to 2 years in advance.
At least, yeah.
And say that now she's like,
she needs to master her powers,
like, we see her like early on in the movie, she's a Jedi Master now.
Yeah.
Like, she's figured her shit out. Ghost Luke has been helping her along the way.
Yeah.
And, has trained her. And now she's up to speed. And now she's starting...
A new Jedi Academy.
Yeah, exactly, something. And you know what? It's going to be like, all right, let's see how many times we can ring this bell. Let's train a new crop of Jedi. It's going to be a catastrophe, but let's train them up anyway.
It was a catastrophe when Luke did it. Because he hesitated.
Yeah.
Or he didn't use his words. He was a bad teacher.
Yeah, but what happened...
And she did kind of say it right. Did you create Kylo Ren? And it's like...
Yeah,
I kind of totally did. You totally did.
I did. I could have killed him, and I hesitated.
Well, I didn't talk to him. I just
but
went there
also,
to kill him.
I scared the shit out of an angsty teenager.
Yeah.
And by doing that, pushed him completely into the dark. Like, he was hovering.
Yeah.
I made the final push.
He's off the fence now.
Yeah. I could have pulled him back if I had handled things differently.
Anytime you get a bunch of Jedi together, it's a foregone conclusion. A lot of them are going to die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's just the thing. 2, okay. You're okay. You're okay for a while.
They can work together.
They might try to kill each other, but you put 2 of them together, okay, you're good for a while. But you get a whole bunch of them, especially a school of them. They always end up dying. Someone ends up going in there and be like, all right, the Sith's here, and it's time to clean shop. Because, I don't know, of course, the Jedi never seem to go away. The same reason the Sith never seem to go away. Or what do we call them now?
Right. So here...
They didn't call him a Sith.
First there was the dark side, then there was the Sith. Then
Luke referred to the Sith.
No, Snoke didn't call
Kylo
a Sith.
But there's a line of dialogue in the last movie where they talk about that. Like, first there was the Sith, then there was the dark side, then there was the Empire.
Yeah.
Remember they said, I can't remember exactly how the line went, but they were like, we're just changing the names. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it really, like a line of dialogue from a character telling the audience, we're just changing the names. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yum, 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 yum. Eat those member berries. But whatever. I mean, that never goes away. She's got the books, so she's going to study. You got to advance her the 2 years, and you got to put her in a position where she's going to start finding these kids and start training up the Jedi. Because once again, we're still faced with this massive Imperial / First Order / New Order from that one article I read.
Right. So I was going to say where
it's
I think they got that, which was a mistake. Is so when they're in the throne room and Snoke is dead, and then all of the samurai have been killed. Kylo puts his hand out to her and says, "Work with me. We can forget the past, forget the Sith, forget the Jedi. Yeah. We can start a new order."
Yeah, that's what. Okay,
you and me together.
All right, so that's what the change is. That makes sense. So he's. Wow.
No, he says, "Let the past die," which actually
we got 1.5 movies into
but he
the
said
First
it like
Order.
3 times.
Yeah, okay, but we got 1.5 movies into the replacements of the Imperial replacements, and now we're already scrapping them. we're halfway through this trilogy at this point, and we're already scrapping them. And they're like, "Yeah, we don't like that. We're going to call it the New Order now." And we're going to be really good in 1991.
You can only wear blue on Mondays. No order.
Order 66? No, 67.
No.
No, I mean, clearly there's a lot to set up for the next movie, but unfortunately...
And that's the peril of the second movie in any trilogy.
Yeah.
And I think that we forget that when we come into Star Wars because Empire is is the best movie of the original trilogy.
It just
is. And it's a good movie on its own besides all that.
And it's the most devoid of jokes.
Right.
Ugh.
Which is
the
thing is, that's like the only trilogy I can think of where the second entry is the best. Because
Godfather.
Okay.
Arguably, right? Thank you, fellow.
Fine. Okay. It's 2. But literally every other trilogy I can think of, the middle movie suffers from the fact that most of what it has to do is set up the final installment.
It's true.
And I think that if we had gone into this expecting a different franchise, we might have felt differently because we would have been like, okay, remember though, it's the second one, which means most of what it's going to be doing is setting up the final one. Yeah. but because we went into it saying, yeah, but Empire, and this was not Empire.
No.
Well, that's almost like the critics' fault because so many reviews said it's better than Empire. It's
That's
as
bullshit.
Empire.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. It just happens to share the same place in a trilogy.
Yeah, no,
as Empire.
that's what a lot of them said though.
Empire.
Well, they're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I know
wrong,
they're
wrong.
wrong. I don't agree with them.
Here's the big, huge missed opportunity.
But there's a lot of
from
Empire
the
in
studio
here. Yeah.
that loves to dish out fresh, steaming hot member berries. Here's what they missed in this movie. Grand opportunity.
What?
Luke, I am your father.
Who would have said
Ray,
that?
I am your father.
Snoke?
That would no, anybody. I don't care. Bring in a new character for Christ's sake. They missed the opportunity to show this connection.
That would have been too. That would have been too much.
Too what?
Empire.
Too much member berries?
Too much Empire Strikes Back. There's so much Empire Strikes Back in here. It's not even funny.
Look at the studio that we're talking about, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
That would have
but
been too much stealing from the original. Come
It would have
on.
been. I wouldn't have liked it.
Not saying I would have liked it, but it's what they do.
Yeah.
It's what they do. Why did they skip a beat on that one?
I'm glad
Because
they
that's
didn't,
that's
Would have been what? Would have been bad writing? We can already admit the writing has not been great.
That would have possibly killed the franchise.
Again, I think they were getting close
Like
to that.
people would have been like, "No, I'm not seeing.
They
I'm
were
not
getting-
seeing it if they're gonna do something as cliche as Ray, I'm your father."
They were getting close to that
Yeah.
as soon as they gave every character in this movie a stand-up comedian 101 class.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you know what? They might as well have.
No, I'm glad they didn't.
No, I'm pissed that I didn't even get a clue. A clue I would have liked. No, a clue. A real clue.
The point is, it's the
No,
Force
don't-
Awakens was a soft reboot. This continues that by saying you don't have to be special in the first place. You don't have to be the son of Jesus, space Jesus, to have the Force.
Yeah, but you know they're going to do something about it. Why else would they have that little flashback in the first movie?
And why else would they have that kid that came from nowhere have the Force at the end?
To show to every little 8-year-old in the audience that's actually watching this movie that anybody has, just so they can.
And
go
that's
home
why
and
that's why they did that with her.
No, not the flashback in the first one where they showed that her parents are leaving.
Yeah,
and
they flew
why
off.
even bother showing that?
They flew off in a ship. That's her earliest memory.
You know, you're saying the line of the asshole in this movie who said your parents were nobody. You're filling that role.
Yeah, her parents were nobody. They sold her into slavery to buy something.
I know. So you're agreeing with that.
I'm agreeing with
line,
that, and I like that.
And you're gonna stand by that.
That's the story as presented so far. If they do something else with it, we'll see how they do it.
I'm betting they're going to do something else. You're betting they're not.
I hope they don't, because that's even more fucking cliche. That everybody has to be related to somebody special.
I think we're beyond cliche with these movies now.
Yeah, I know, but this would be nice.
I mean,
something
it's a cliche every 5 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
the unique things are the ones I will praise, like the fleet following the other fleet as the main storyline. I fucking love that.
No, there's a clock. There's tension.
It's
and
great.
It's just like there's there's an end. There's
For
have so
me,
many hours of fuel left.
for me, that's like setting up. In this Star Trek series, it's going to be about a space station at the edge of the wormhole. No, in this one, it's going to be a Federation ship again. But guess what? Now they're on the other side of the known universe, and they're all by themselves. Again, fresh takes on the familiar. It's not going to be Next Generation Star Trek, which is basically an updated version of the original.
Yeah.
Same plot, same plan, same thing. Those series, they did something different, and fucking kind of works for me, and the fact that it's unique. It means you can do something and get ratings and get plot.
which is why I like.
So I like this plot line. It's not the same. The Rebels are in trouble again. There's another Death Star coming around again. I'm glad they didn't bother trying to.
Well, there wasn't a Death Star in Empire Strikes Back.
Exactly. Again,
That's why there wasn't one in this one.
Again, the best
You think-
movie
you-
didn't
you-
have a Death Star.
you
Thank
think-
you for showing that off. You're right.
You think they'll do
You're
a
right.
Death Star in the 9th one?
I hope not.
I'm worried there will be.
I know. I think there will be.
I'm really
Because it's J.J. Abrams.
But it's going to be something like a Death Star. Like, they got close enough with the Dreadnought. They got pretty close.
Yeah.
They got pretty close. It wasn't as mean,
Yeah, but that got destroyed in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
which I appreciate. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to be this one drawn out, like, oh no, now the Death Star's shaped like a triangle.
You really see its capabilities.
I know, right? Yeah,
It looks so
it's
wise than a dreadnought.
practically the same thing, but it's a dreadnought, yeah. But I like that they said, when you get a shot at a dreadnought, meaning there's multiples of these fuckers.
Yeah.
Because they made it like, if you get a shot at one, how many are there?
Yeah.
So I like that, But it was all this other cliche shit and storylines that were too cluttered and too many characters, and they were all funny, and it sucked the tension and the life out of the whole script.
I'd say...
I say take out a half... You could take out 45 minutes of this movie. 45 minutes of the things we mentioned that we didn't like.
Yeah.
You'd be left with a really good, solid, hour and a half long Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be an hour and a half long, but it would be a really good, solid Star Wars movie.
No,
and
it'd be hour 45.
Hour 45.
Yeah.
Even better.
It's 2.5. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
But you know what? You could take out a couple of the characters while you're at it. The Porgs can go. You don't need that sequence when they go off on the stupid, Benicio del Toro timeline. So you don't need him. You don't need...
That's the...
I liked him, but I will... And
He was necessary for the plot.
And I like that character. I thought he played that character the best versus everybody else playing... Well, even people who've been playing their characters for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
I think he played that character better than anybody else, but he's Benicio del Toro, so that's not weird. But I'll sacrifice him to get rid of that stupid subplot, which
it was
served nothing, cost more lives.
Well, it was horrible because they're locked in the cell with him, and he can get out at any time by himself.
I know.
He just happens to get out when they show up and they say we happen to need a code breaker.
He was just waking up.
It was like
having
hung over. He's like,
so what? Yeah.
So he was having a siesta, and you know what? Again, it didn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, but he did it to be impressive. If he got locked up with them at the same time, then he busted out. Okay, but again, it doesn't even matter because
we can get rid of that whole story.
You can totally get rid of it.
And
how many lives are saved if Laura Dern turns around and says, "By the way, this is the plan"? How many lives are saved when all this other...
I thought I was going to see, as he was, tying his shoe or something, see,
one of the
Lotus
logos,
inside
right?
of his, coat. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't see that. Nobody's supposed to see that. Yeah. I just put it on my shirt for no reason. But but then you have to explain, why is it even there? What does this have to do with it? He just wears this?
It's the Grubo Code Breakers, the Red Lotus.
I guess. Again, another weird thing. I mean, they're desperate to show how big the galaxy of Star Wars is. Yeah. And I think they just don't give their fans enough credit. And we know how big the galaxy is.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
We know how big this universe is.
They needed a code breaker to break through the shield to get on the Star Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
But they could fire torpedoes through the shield at the bridge of the ship?
They could abandon the ship. I think they could abandon the cruiser. Turn the cruiser on and fire it through it.
I'm assuming they both had the same shield technology?
I don't know, but
because Rebel stuff.
I don't know, but this magical GPS thing. Okay, the Resistance.
They kept changing colors.
Yeah, I read an article to Rachel right after we saw it, and this guy just goes in and he flames the whole thing, and I was laughing my head off the whole time. I was like, "Yep, you're right about that." Oh shit, I missed that. Yeah, you're right about that too. Can't remember the name. It's on a video game site. And the guy's complaining about how the movie is falling into video game traps, where the plot doesn't really matter. Who gives a fuck why the plumber is trying to travel through these pipes and find the princess? Who really gives a shit? You just want to play the game.
Yeah.
Just get Mario to the princess. Wrong castle? Fuck. All right, just get her to the next. Get him to the next castle. You don't really care about the plot so much because you're having so much fun playing. And they said he was likening a lot of these problems, the ones that we brought up, to that. So you don't really have to worry about the plot so much, which is kind of a sad thing to say about a movie. Yeah, don't worry about the plot. This is just happening. Anyway, one of the things he mentioned, he's like, and then they introduce the worst part to the plot, and it's the space magic GPS light speed tracker thing. I think is exactly how he put it.
Which one?
The magic GPS tracking space thing.
The one that the First Order is using to track.
The light speed tracker.
Not the matching bracelets that Leia
and not that. No, the First Order.
Light speed tracker looked like it was on the DeLorean.
That's the one.
That thing, but green, not white.
The Flux space tracker.
Yeah.
GPS.
Not the overthruster.
Patent pending.
Patent pending.
It's just because here's the thing. In the original trilogy, it's a guerrilla war. It's the Resistance, and everybody knows about lightspeed, and all of the tactics around this all stem from it's guerrilla war. And because with this technology, you can zip in from nowhere and just appear, and boom, you're there. Yeah. We see it happen time and time again. We see it happen even in the last movie. Where all of a sudden the ships come out of nowhere. The First Order fleet just shows up. Or Rogue One. Where the Empire all of a sudden light speeds in, hyperspace in. All right, but now we've instituted that the technology exists out there now. Where all of a sudden that isn't necessarily foolproof. So when the Falcon dips into hyperspace and we lost them, which is the plot line for the the original 3 movies. Like, they went to hyperspace. We're trying to track them. We can't. We went to hyperspace.
Yeah.
Fuck. We lost Eagle 5.
Yeah.
Him and his mom.
Yeah, they never explain how they're tracking them.
Right, but now...
At all.
Right, but now we have this tracking device that's all of a sudden created for the very first time 30 or 40 years after... Right, okay. But now we've instituted this technology. So now the Resistance is going to have a whole hell of a hard time waging their guerrilla warfare against the New Order now. Because now Lightspeed is, well, kind of useless and kind of worthless. You just took a dimension out of this. You kind of half neutered one of these little tools at the disposal of all of these people.
But not exactly.
It's kind of a limitation.
You still don't know what's on the other side. You can track them to where they're going, but you don't know what's there once you get there.
No, but you can track them where they went to.
Yeah.
So if you're following somebody, now it's easy to find.
Yeah, and which could lead to how many different traps? You jump in thinking you're tracking a single frigate. They have a whole battle fleet and destroy your Star Destroyer or your Dreadnought. You send your big gun to wipe them out.
I guess.
You said it's a fleet
Either way, it wound up being a moot point.
Yes,
yeah,
that's completely pointless.
I know, but again,
which was the part that frustrated me the most.
Yeah.
So we spent so much energy and time in the movie dealing with this.
We see the fucking thing. We're
only
like,
for it to not really matter.
Well, it was all part of the plan that somebody besides Purple Hair should have known about, because that's probably exactly why they jumped there in the first place, because they knew they were being tracked.
I guess.
Because they were on, full speed?
Yeah,
and
they had
just
6 hours of time left.
They just happened to fly by a planet that had an old rebel base on it. Like, there aren't...
Nice and cool.
Like, there are that many. Yeah.
Big coincidence.
Yeah.
How many planets there are?
Yeah.
Big coincidence. Oh, yeah, we used to have a fortress there.
Yeah.
Fully functioning, ready to go, fully armored. Mm-hmm. We're not there now. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
But we didn't jump to straight
salty.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very salty. It's just salty.
Yeah.
You know? I don't need too much sodium in my diet. Well, anyway, that's what I got to say about the fucking thing.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to gauge it.
I think you're gonna see it because it's Star Wars, but
you're gonna see it because it's Star Wars. But I think the critics are wrong on one end if we're doing our math correctly, and that. I mean, we gave them the benefit of the doubt and said the critics probably give it 50-50.
I hate to say it. I think this one is it's not that bad.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
It's not
that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I liked Force Awakens better, but here's the thing. When me and Rachel walked out and we were already like mid-sentence skipping words with how frustrated we were about this movie. Like, I'll give you an example. We walk out of the theater. Did you see the? Why did he? Yeah. And then all of a sudden he said, "Well, what?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she hits her in the head with the what?
Yeah.
Well, poor you. What the fuck? Fucking guinea pigs? What? We couldn't even get complete sentences out. But once we calmed down and got a couple of deep breaths, and after I came back into consciousness, we realized we're like.
And
it's really just
we'll both take on editing this into a good movie because it's in there. It's totally in there.
It's hidden in there somewhere.
It's in there.
But also there's another Spaceballs in there somewhere too. With as much comedy that's in there.
Yeah.
If you just edited those out, there's a Spaceballs.
We could do both.
Anyway, but we're like, this movie makes me just appreciate Rogue One so much more now. So much because. We did Force Awakens, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a lot of member berries, but okay, they're just getting it started again. Okay, you're forgiven, because you're restarting it. Okay, but you got all of the first 3 movies out of the way, so now we can do brand new stuff, and you can wow me.
Yeah, we're still not going to do brand new stuff.
But between then and now, we got Rogue One. From the same studio, I'm like, oh, I love this. I got new stuff, and it's old. I love it. Awesome. I love Rogue One. And after seeing this one, I love Rogue One so much more now.
Same.
I do. I love Rogue One so much more now, because it's so much of a better movie. Fuck just being just a Star Wars movie. It's just so much of a better movie. It made sense. It wasn't cluttered.
But I thought it was a lot better than that.
It had problems, sure, but it just was such a better movie.
There weren't as many. Why is this happening?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
The DVD
the comedy felt organic.
Yeah.
Are there scenes that were Because I know there was rewrites in Rogue One.
In Rogue One,
yeah, that
they're not going to release the scenes that you see in the trailer
Okay.
that we really want to see. We really want to see two things that we saw in the trailer of Rogue One, which was she's at the end of
the walkway and the TIE fighter flies up. Jyn Erso.
Yeah. She's at the end of the catwalk. She's limping, and she's walking out there to go turn the thing on, the antenna on, and up in front of her, like big as day, up floats a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Like, to block out the sun in front of her. It's a terrifying looking scene. I'm like, I want to see that shit. That's got to be like, holy shit. And
Didn't make it into the movie.
Right. And I don't want to see a droid roll in and go, boop, 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 boop. Shut up, BB-9. I don't care that I have toilet paper still stuck to my shoe. I'm busy, Anyway, back to the action. We weren't going to see any of that bullshit. We were going to see just this awesome shot and this massive tension. And then what happens? Yeah. And then the big line from the trailers. I'm a rebel. I rebel. With the English accent, just making it sound so much cooler.
See, I wanted to see...
Not in the movie, they cut that shit out because all of a sudden they had a change of direction because the studio looked at what they were doing. They're like, no, you're going to ruin this movie. Yeah. We need to cut this, and this, and we have to now cut this, and this because if we cut the first two things or the first three things, we now have to cut these other things because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. So now she can't say that. Now she can't walk on that catwalk anymore and stand there like that.
Well, see,
they had to cut all this shit out. So we're like, I wish we could see that in director's cut. But as a result, because they changed the story, you can't put it back in because then it doesn't make any sense. So sadly, they're not going to see that.
Do we want to call this?
Yeah.
No,
now into Rogue One. I'm rambling about Rogue One, but
you're basically going to see it at Star Wars. I'd say see it matinee.
See it. It's
just
Star Wars.
Not that bad.
It's Star Wars. It's not that bad. But yeah, you're right. Matinee.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
It's matinee. I mean, don't worry about standing in line to be the first one to see it. You can be the 54 millionth person to see it.
We hung out and had sandwiches, so it was cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Just
yeah.
See it because it's Star Wars so that so they prepare for the next one.
54th millionth would have been like 2 days ago.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you think, Josue?
No, what do you about the movie?
Yeah.
I liked it. I feel if I see it a few more times, it's going to be less and less.
It's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse later. But at the end of the day, you guys are right. Star Wars. You're going to see it. You're going to love it. You're going to love those member berries. But there is a potential in it if it was edited the way.
Oh, we're going to. Yeah. I am at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to seeing that. Yeah, go see it. It's fun. It's a roller coaster of emotion. Everything's nostalgic. It was great, but that comes at a price.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And last but not least, it's not a gender thing. We just went by height. That's all. So, Rachel.
I mean, I'm torn on it because there were parts of it that were really good, and I felt like if certain parts had been cut out, it would have been not an excellent movie, but a very good movie, a very, very good movie. Mm. But because I kept getting pulled out of it, I have to give it I'm glad I saw it, but I'm not aching to see it again.
Would you rather go home and watch Rogue One?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that, I'm going to go home and watch Empire.
I might hit up the drive-in tomorrow and watch it 3 times to get those editing cues down.
Of course,
bring a video camera.
We all might be evacuated and or burned tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah. That's kind of like the bad thing because that's why I want to edit so bad because the jokes don't have any impact on the story.
Yeah, exactly.
At all.
Anyway,
that's one of the good things. And like even like some of the trip to the Capitol is bookended everywhere.
It wasn't the Capitol.
I just call it that
because it was Monaco.
Okay, fine. The trip
I was expecting to
Monaco.
see Space James Bond playing Baccarat in the corner with a one-eyed villain.
Yeah, he had the thing on his thing.
Oh, that was supposed to be James Bond?
Might as well have been.
Fair enough. I can see Thoreau as James Bond. All right.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Well, I got really nothing else to say.
Anyone
yeah,
else?
we're good. We're good.
Back to your Porg videos.
Oh, Porg videos.